Welcome in, everyone. Michelle Thompson here with Around the ACL, and I've got Trey Ryder and Anthony Ione joining me today. And we've got a great show for you. We're going to talk about the signature schedule, finally get that revealed, some cool locations to get into. We're going to go through the top 10 from Reno. We're going to talk about your power rankings for doubles and then get into some buy or sell. No cornhole to watch or work this weekend. A little break for the next couple weeks before it gets a little crazy for me. I know you guys, it gets crazy in a couple months, but anything cornhole related this weekend, Trey? Did you just avoid it altogether?
No, mine was filled literally every hour of every day with cornhole. So I had a chance to. We have a good relationship with Atlanta Motor Speedway, so I had an opportunity to go and run an ACL space in the fan zone. So my days were filled with, setting up some cornhole boards and interacting with fans all day, and letting them get a chance to play some cornhole. Had two pros out there, Devin Keene and Jason Frady, both out of the state of Georgia. So got a chance to spend some time with them, get to know them a little bit better. And it was a great time. Put on some, put on a tournament, put on an activation, let fans throw some bags. And I even got my first experience getting inside the pit in NASCAR. So I got to see all of that action and, cars 20 feet from me going, 200 miles an hour. I mean, that was the first time, I'd been to a race before through this type of relationship, but kind of just been in the stands far away and they're still loud. But like, this is the first time, like up close and personal, walking by the pit crews. It was a really, really cool experience. And although I'm not a NASCAR person, I get it. Like I walked in there and I was like, okay, I get this, right? I can get in the RV, driving it into the infield, parking it up and having the cars drive around me for 4 days. It was a really cool experience. So, overall got to expose more people to cornhole for the first time and, build some fans out of it. So, long weekend, but a good weekend and one that I won't forget for a while.
Man, I hope that's what people think when they come to our events. Like, I get it now. When they walk in, like, this makes sense.
Yeah, if it makes anybody feel better, we actually do get that feedback from sponsors. It's so funny when there's been a couple times I've hosted some sponsors at our events. And, initially when they sign the deal, they're like, I think this is going to work. I think it could be okay. And we're going to take a chance on it. And then they show up, they go, okay, yeah, I just needed to see it. Like, I get it now. Like, it makes sense. It's a different world when you get to experience it firsthand. So I think that translates to both sports, honestly.
Yeah, definitely. How about you, Anthony? Any exciting plans this past weekend?
Yeah, nothing cornhole. I know I've been saying for a while that I had to trade in all of my cornhole for my little guy's basketball about a year and a half ago, getting ready for his high school season. So this is going to be the last week where we made the playoffs. So we're in the last week, but it's been 4 months of hardcore basketball for him. It's actually been a cool experience for me as well. I kind of have some proud moments, but my guy came in as an 8th grader into the freshman season, completely undersized, tons of skill. He's recognized as, one of the better 8th graders in the state, but he's only 5'8", 119 pounds coming into the freshman season. Just started the growth. So we keep saying he's going to grow, but it's not kind of happening. So, the way the season rolled out, they didn't know what to do with him. He's tons of skill, but just really small. So he made the JV level team and they're like, we don't know if we're going to be able to play you that much. So why don't you suit up for the freshman team and see what you can do? Well, that didn't last long because he came out the first 2 games. He put up 20 plus points in the first half. And then what would happen is we would have these 20, 30 point leads going into the second half. And they'd be like, well, we're going to let some of the other guys play. So we'd kind of only play halves. By the time they were completely undefeated, like 7 or 8 games in. He put up 30 points in the first 3 quarters. And they were like, we're actually going to suit you up for varsity, so you can't play freshman anymore. So he kind of played himself out of that and then worked himself from the bottom of the bench of JV. He was literally the last guy at the bench. He started the last 2 games, led the team in scoring. He had a 20-point game and a 17-point game. And then coming into this playoffs, he's actually played a couple minutes. It was unbelievable. 2 games ago, he got 3 minutes, 3 varsity minutes, the last 3 minutes, No joke. He put up 11 points in 3 minutes. He went 3 for 3 from the 3-point line, got a steal, fouled coming in, hit 2 free throws, 11 points in 3 minutes. So we have a playoff game tomorrow night, and he's so tiny coming out there at the varsity level because these are men. He's barely 15. He's 15 in a couple of days going up against 17, 18-year-old men. So he's kind of like, and the shorts are all big because it's all they have left. He's got like these extra large shorts, so he looks like Iverson out there, all big old shorts. It's pretty awesome. So it's been an amazing, amazing season, but it has been basketball 7 days a week for 4 straight months.
Oh my goodness, I don't doubt it. But at least it's like fun, entertaining to watch. Like, sorry to all the baseball people, but man, when Rome would play baseball, I'm like, this is brutal. Like, I'll take basketball or soccer any day over that. A little slow. I think it was too slow for him too, hence why he doesn't do it anymore. But it will not be slow getting into the signature series here. We've got lots of cool dates and events. Let's bring up the graphic here and take a look. So first signature is going to be in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Then we're going to head over to Mesa, Arizona, and Windsor, Colorado. Moving on to Fort Worth, Texas, Utica, New York, and Richmond, Virginia. So those are going to be your places that we're going to be hanging out for our signatures. And then, of course, wrapping it up with our World Championships that will be July 28th through August 3rd. This graphic is available for you. I think, is the schedule up on the website now, Trey?
Last I heard that they already had one up there. I think they were working on the rest, but at least the schedule is up on social, and then the rest is it should be at least the schedule itself is up there. Whether or not each individual event page is ready, I'm not sure yet, but yeah.
Okay, cool. So then if you're watching or if you're listening and if you want to turn on YouTube, I've got the graphic up here with all the details of exactly where we'll be and when. And Anthony, I know you had a question. So what do you got?
Yeah, I think this is just significant as we go into the signature series. We've been talking opens this whole time, 9 opens, and now we're about to transition into the signature, and really just wanted to kind of help get Trey to kind of help us paint this picture of what that looks like. So coming out of those first 9 opens, and actually the whole open series in general, I think it's the 2 best open performances. Is that right, Trey, that count towards points?
Correct.
So then we go into this series of 6 that we're seeing right here on the screen. And there's going to be, is it best of 4 of these that count towards your points?
Yeah,
and then
4
best out of the 6. And then point-wise, I think, is it double the points for signature versus open?
Correct.
Okay,
yeah.
So super important. So all of the rankings that we see out there on the site right now could completely change. We know a lot of pros aren't well traveled. We get a mix of teams out there that might have a high ranking that won't actually be teams moving on to the signature series. And I think they're at the bottom moving into the World Championship. This is something important to keep in mind is the past, history of the pro division. All the pros would make the World Championship. And Trey, that's not going to be the case this year. If you can help me with the numbers, I think let's just say 256. That's kind of the number of pros that we've always kind of had, with mixed in elites and whatnot. Top 32 plus 8 out of a challenger bracket. So is it top 40?
Yeah, top 40 into the final bracket. So a full breakdown of it would be that if you make your way into the top 32 of pro single standings at the end of the regular season, you get an automatic bid into the final bracket at the World Championships. If you are not in that group, so you're number 33 all the way to number 250. Now, keep in mind, we only have about 200 pros this year. So when I say from 33 to 250, that's room for 50-plus elite players that have played well, that have earned enough points at the highest level in order to get into what we're calling, what we're calling a challenger bracket. Okay. And all those challenger brackets is that everybody that comes into, and I don't know what happened to my camera, but that's interesting. And so, anyway, so all the people from the challenger bracket, there we go. Everybody that's outside the top 32, inside the top 250, they all get split into 8 brackets. Okay. And it's brutal, but you got to
Yeah.
win your bracket. So if you win that bracket, you get entry into the final world championship bracket. The idea is building the world championships to be more like playoffs, right? In previous seasons, it's always felt like the world championships was just, it's just another tournament kind of way. They're all the same format. It wasn't worth any more points, but it was Worlds. This time, Worlds doesn't count towards standings. It's just only a certain amount of people qualify. And the other caveat to that is if you make the final bracket at the World Championships, that's also a way to secure your pro card for next season. Everybody that plays in that final bracket will earn their pro card for next season.
That's significant.
So it is. Yeah. So again, it could be one of those things. There's really two ways. And this is the way we've always shaped the league, not only from a seasonality perspective. We're just kind of mimicking it, the World Championships, to be consistent, right? How have we done it in the past? You've had two ways to qualify to be a pro. You could be really, really good for one day, but it's a brutal day, and that's the pro qualifier. Or you could qualify throughout your season play. Exact same thing now. You could qualify for that final bracket by season play, or one really tough, brutal day, which is that challenger bracket. You're coming in there. Let's say there's, you can do that math. There's 220-ish people across that, divided by 8. You're talking under, about 30 people in your individual bracket, right? That you're trying to fight through, but you got to win the whole thing. So, that's the exciting part of it. And what's going to be really interesting about it is fighting into those final 8 spots. It'll be fun.
Just to put that number in perspective, 85% of the pro field cut does not make that final bracket. So just let that sit in for a minute. That's significant.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I like it because it gives it so much more significance. Like we talk about how Trey Birchfield has those, those titles in the world's category, which is great because, everyone's showing up for that. So you have to go through a very deep field compared to maybe, a signature that didn't have everybody there. Everybody's going, but it's still just like a signature, essentially, just a well, attended one. So I like this a lot more. I'm excited.
Yeah. And one thing that I, find interesting is that if you actually go back and look, I'd have to go back and look at the exact rankings, but Trey Birchfield and Adam Hissner finished last season after their world championship bonus points at 17th.
I know.
So in doubles, only the top 20 automatically qualify. So we're looking at a situation where, the idea of someone coming out of absolutely nowhere might not be as and there's good and bad there, right? Someone still could come out of nowhere, right? But they'd have to do really well on that challenger bracket day beforehand, right? Yeah. Who's to say that even if Trey Birchfield and Adam Hissner hadn't gotten the automatic bid last year, that they probably would have been a big favorite to win that challenger bracket anyway. But the point remains that there's going to be some people. I mean, we haven't even hit the signature events, but just for the sake of adding drama and adding suspense, if I go look who is outside of our top 32 right now on our pro singles standings, AJ Sims, Matt Wilson, Jay Rubin, Sam Finley, Frank Modlin, Damon Dennis, Ryan Windsor. There's a number of different guys on here as we go through outside of the top 32 of people that are gonna struggle. So, and elite players that don't qualify will be eligible to play in other events like advanced events if they're outside that 250. So there's still room for other people to play, but it just does add a cool, exciting element. And I think that's what makes Worlds special and what's going to make Worlds a lot of fun this year. And, I know we kind of just, briefly talked about the graphic, but it is worth noting that World Championship is a week earlier this year. So that was done for a variety of different reasons. One, to help out a lot of the junior players and a lot of people getting into school time that may have kids. And also, everybody on this team will be excited to see that 7 days instead of 10 days. So 7 days of World Championships starting on Monday, ending on Sunday. All of the events will be fit into that 7-day window. So, it just makes it a little bit easier for people to commit to go to the World Championships. No excuses this year.
Definitely get there. What a great event that always is. Just being at the HQ is so much fun. All right, you guys have some power rankings, and we're going to do doubles this week. And Trey, we'll kick it off with you. Who do you got?
All right, so doubles power rankings. This is always fun, and this is an interesting position of where we are in the season because
I'm sorry, Trey. Hold on 1 second. I think what I'm going to do is have you do 10 and then Anthony do 10, and we'll go back and forth. Does that work?
Sounds good.
Yes.
Okay. So you just give us your number 10 to start. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, I got you.
Oh,
right.
backwards. Okay.
Okay. All right.
You want to go backwards?
Yeah, no, I love this. No, this is perfect.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So my number 10, interesting part, and actually speaks into exactly what I was going to talk about, which is that this point in the season, we're kind of at this place where a lot of the top players have either maxed out or they're good, right? They're good with the amount of points that they got, right? Because they only count your 2 best opens. So if you've gone to 3 or 4 opens, let's say you've won 1 bracket at the open and maybe coming in a 2nd or a 3rd place, you may not have fully maxed out, but you're like, hey, the signature events, they count 4 of them. They're worth double the points. I really just need to hit a single, hit a double in order to get on the board type of thing, and then I can worry about the signature. So we are in this interesting position of where we are on the standings. And that aligns with exactly who I'm kind of talking about first with my number 10. And that's a team that right now you have to scroll to find them, right? But I know for a fact that they are a top 10 team. I would argue they're a top team. You could even make a real good argument they're a top 3 team. However, they have not delivered at the opens. But I cannot in good conscience leave them off a top 10 power ranking. So my number 10 to start and lay all this out is Devin Harbaugh and Jeremiah Ellis at number 10. I think there's even some argument they should be a lot higher, but we have not seen the proof in the pudding from them yet. We have not seen them play well together as a team. They've played limited as a team, but someone that I expect out of signature number 1 to come out and jump up the leaderboard pretty quickly.
All right, Anthony, who you got number 10?
Hey, I know a lot of people are going, what the heck? You just put them at number 10. I love that, and it all makes sense. When we usually get to 10, we talk about all the teams that don't make the top 10 because it is super stacked. I'm just going to get those right out of the way. You will not see these teams in my top 10. This is how tough it is. You're going to have teams like Cody Henderson and Ethan Walker, Derek Holland and Alex Rawls, Eric Davis, Matthew Sorrells, Cheyenne Bubenheim and Jordan Power. I have reasons behind that. Alan Rawls and Chris Kingsbury, AJ Sims, Braden Wilson. Yep. How about Grindersleeve Turpin? I mean, Hunter Thorson, having a good open at the last one. So not in my top 10. That's how stacked this is going to be. Number 10 for me, I'm going with the team that has been consistent over many, many years. They're returning multiple years as double partnership. They made a bracket final at one of the opens, showing consistency, making a bracket final recently and winning a bracket kind of mid-open season. I'm going to go with Ryan Smith and Ryan Wiedenfield.
All right. I didn't predict that. I like it, though. All right, Trey, who you got number 9?
Wow. Okay. That is, you had dropped some names in there that are in my top 10. I'll tell you that.
Isn't that crazy?
One of those is right here. Number 9. I also put in the bucket of Harbaugh and Ellis. And then from here on out, 9 and 10 were reserved specifically for me, where it was like power ranking. Power ranking tells me, how are you doing right now? But I can't leave this team out because this team is super, super good. So I have Alex Rawls and Derek Holland at number 9. I expect them to be there, but I can't in good conscience leave them off any type of top 10 list, but I do penalize them for not having sustained success at the opens, and therefore I put them at number 9.
Without giving it away, Trey, do you have the Ryans in your top 10?
I do.
Okay, just curious.
Okay.
All right, Anthony, what's your number 9?
Hey, I don't hate that number 9. You get a close look at Holland locally. You know how he's throwing. Alex Rawls, not going to say he slipped, but I just feel like he should be winning more, but we're not getting him a lot. But he's right outside a 10 for me. My number 9, and this one was hard for me to put on the list, but I'm giving him credit for consistently showing up. They don't follow the path of what we think strategically and technique-wise it takes to win this game. You're talking about a guy that throws the slick side of his bag, a team that has no roll, no cut, but for some reason they continue to end up second or third in brackets. That's Steven Bernasette and Philip Lopez.
I had a feeling that's who you're talking about. Okay, number 8, Trey.
It's funny, as he described both of the teams on his lineup, I was like, I think I know who this is. I'm 2 for 2 on your descriptions.
Yeah.
But number 8 is Philip Lopez and Steven Bernadette for me. So I have them just one ahead. They're number 6 in the rankings right now. But I think because of play style, they deserve to drop 1 or 2 pegs from where they actually are ranked. Still a top 10 team, still a team that made the Final Four at the World Championships. So it's not as if this is a team that when the lights are brightest, they can't perform. They've shown that they can do that. So I have them at 8.
Anthony?
All right, this is going to be a fun one. This team beat teams like Graham and Trzynski and then go on to beat Sammy Soto in a bracket to take the king seat. So you're going to see those teams are my future higher-ranked teams. They took the king seat at open number 4 against a team like JBJ and Chamberlain. So that's the resume we're building. And if we look at history, last year we had a Hart and Ellis, a brand new team to the league, shocked the cornhole world, finished number 1. If we go the year before that, who shocked the world as another new team? JBJ and Logan Chamberlain. So if we follow history, we always have that one new team that blows us all out of the water and ends up in the top 10. My pick to follow that kind of history is going to be Austin Waskow and Quinn Reeds.
All right. Number 7, Trey.
I do not have Waskow and Reeves in my top 10. So they're outside of my top 10.
Sleeping, Trey.
Number 7, I have Ryan Smith and Ryan Wiedenfeld. So you had them a little bit lower. I have them at number 7. Really, this is results matter for me because I wanted to put them in a worse ranking. I thought my gut tells me 10 to 15. But when I looked at what they've done consistently, see, not only across this season, but even prior seasons, we always talk about wanting more consistency out of people, and you can't get much better consistency-wise than what you've seen from Smith and Wiedenfeld. They haven't had as much upside, and that's why they're not going to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. But for me, when I ask for it, they deliver consistency, and they deserve to be in the top 10. They're number 7.
Anthony?
Yeah, here's going to be my first team that really hasn't showed us anything yet this year, consistency-wise. They did come out and win an open, but then nothing since. I'm really giving credit to the fact that we're talking about a guy that was a world champ. He's won the biggest tournaments that there is. And I think he's a better cornhole player today than he was 2 years ago, which says a lot when you're talking about a resume like that. You pair him with a guy that's one of the best juniors in the game right now, who had an unbelievable season last year. It's kind of not following the power ranking where who's hot right now. But I think if you, in the spirit of the signatures approaching, we throw them in the first signature. I think they do really, really well. Jay Rubin and Ryan Trader for me at that next rank. You don't have them in your 10, do you?
I probably wouldn't have them in 15.
Oh, listen.
Yeah, I might not have them at 20.
Oh, yikes. Shots have been fired.
Oh, fuel. That is fuel for a Jay Rubin.
Hey, you know what? Correct me. Go for it, but I ain't seen nothing. So
mark that page, Meesh. Let's put a bookmark in that one.
Got it. Oh, number 6, Trey.
All right, number 6, Texas boys, JBJ, Logan Chamberlain. It's not much to say about here. I mean, really, this is a top 10 team definition of it. It's really just where do they end up in the top 10 at the end of the year. If they end up number 10, they're going to say it's a disappointing season, right? We're getting into the, towards the top half of this power rankings right now. And I'm going to put them in the middle now because they can adjust where they go based on, honestly, right now it's based on how JBJ plays. Logan Chamberlain's the better player right now. And so if JBJ can get back to form of last year, the year before, they'll be scary.
Anthony?
All right. Number 6 kind of follows the previous argument about not much this season, but we can't deny the world champs, Adam Hissner and Trey Birchfield. Haven't even won a bracket yet. They made a bracket final at the last one, showing that they're still in it. They had to go through JBJ and Chamberlain open number 9 to get to that final. But if you look at before that, it's like fourth in bracket, way outside. But Adam Hissner showing he's still got it recently in singles. We know Trey is right there in the mix as well. They just got to it's just something weird going on doubles. I think we get to the signature series, they're going to be fine. I'm putting them at number 6, Trey.
Okay, getting to the top 5. What do you got for 5?
All right, number 5. This is a team that I don't feel like is number 5, but the consistency has to show it. And it has to, results have to matter. And they matter to me. They don't matter to Anthony because they're not even in his top 10. But I'm going to go Cheyenne Bubenheim and Jordan Powell, right? I still think they're working through what chemistry is. I still think they're working through even bag selection. I think that's going to be tough for them. But they're the number 1 team in the world. They're one of only 2 teams to have won 2 different open brackets. And they did it at some of the most difficult opens. It was not as if they took the smallest opens and they got that win. In Myrtle Beach, the largest ACL event that we've ever had that was not the World Championships, they won a bracket at that event. That has to show for something. And for me, I expect them to be a really, really good team. I think in the end, they end up closer to 10, maybe even 15. But right now, they deserve to be at around number 5 right now based on the consistent play that they had.
Anthony.
Trey's number 10 is my 5, Harbaugh and Ellis. I totally get what he's saying. Haven't done anything. The recent open, I think they took 5th in their bracket. But the fact is, if we look at singles, we might have both of these guys in our top 5 in singles. So if you have 2 top 5 players in singles together in doubles, it's pretty hard to argue. Ellis proven himself last year. Yes, the sophomore slump thing does come into mind because that historically has happened. But then the reverse of it, Devin Harbaugh making moves up. You could essentially have the number. You could almost argue the number 1 and the number 2 singles finishers are partners. But the fact that they don't have a lot of history, I'm not giving them 1, 2, 3, or 4. I'm going 5 on that one, Meesh.
All right, number 4, Trey.
All right, number 4, I have the world champs at number 4. So Hissner and Birchfield. I had a similar feeling to Anthony, and I was going to put them in the bottom half of my top 10. But then I started looking at where they were finishing. It's almost on cue. If you look at like 4 or 5 opens, they've gotten like a third in the bracket, right? And to me, what I'd be more worried about, I think, is if they were having really poor finishes. Like if someone is elevating on a non-signature event to take them down and eliminate them, and the statistics weren't showing up there, I might be a little bit worried, but they're playing fine right now. And we know what their upside is when the lights turn on. So for me, if they're at least hanging in the ballpark, then I'm keeping them in a top 5. I got them at number 4.
Anthony, number 4.
Process of elimination, me and Trey are going to have the same top 3. I can see this coming. Trey's number 6 is my number 4, JBJ and Logan Chamberlain. It's actually pretty crazy when you look at their finishes, how consistently they've been 3rd place. 5 times. They've got 4 third place bracket finishes and 1 third overall. Same bag, returning partnership, a lot of history, national champs, a lot of reasons why they should be a top 4 team. That's my 4.
Number 3.
Top 3 for me, you could flip a coin any given day. I really do believe that any one of these 3, I could easily put one over another. I'm going with Graham and Trzynski at number 3. For me, they're similarly skilled players. They have a lot of different shots. I think the only thing that will limit this team, and I'm not saying it will, I would say Jamie Graham needs to not be a coach to Jacob Trzynski. The reason for that is, if you look back last year, when you play with Frank Modlin, you got to coach each other. That's just the way that Frank Modlin plays. Better, for worse, whatever it is, that's just how you play. That's not how you be a partner to Jacob Trzynski. To me, Jacob Trzynski is so much better when he's playing loose, when he's playing aggressive, and he needs to just throw the bag, and he needs to go after it. So I think the ceiling is the chemistry that continues to develop for Graham and Trzynski. I got them at number 3.
Who's your number 3? Is it the same?
No, we got a little difference here.
Okay.
All of my top 3s have one in open, so they will share that. This one, it's just been a weird ride. We know that they're going to be really good top three. You talk about a team that beat a team like Ellis and Harbaugh earlier and then lost to like a Justin Stranger and a Kyle Petering at open number 5. And it's like a top 3 team. You should win those type of matches. That's Tony Smith and Mark Richards. And I think the difference for me, if you look at the top 3 teams, this team specifically is throwing a different bag in singles. And I'll say the same thing about Harbaugh and Ellis. And what that tells me is one of those players is not throwing the bag that they're most comfortable with when it comes to speed. So someone is making that minor adjustment when you get to doubles, throwing a bag that's not theirs. And when you're talking top 3, that could be the difference in 1 or 2 points in a 21-20 loss. So I'm going to go Tony Smith, Mark Richards at number 3.
Number 2, Trey.
All right, my number 2 team that I pegged earlier in a hot take to win Team of the Year, that is Sammy Soto and Gavin Cano. I think technically they're probably the most skilled team. They can hit any type of shot. I am worried a little bit about the consistency on Gavin Cano's side. And I would say that Sammy Soto 3 months ago was the best player in the world. I just want to see that continue, and I'm a little bit worried that he won't be the best player in the world. He'll be the 5th best player in the world, the 4th best player in the world come signature time. And when you talk about being the Team of the Year, you want 2 of the best players in the world, and the team I have at number 1, won't be any surprise, has 2 people that I think are going to be 2 of the best players in the world come signature time.
I feel like your 2 is different, Anthony.
It is, but he's already had this one, and then obviously his number 1's going to go to the team I just talked about. But I'm going to go Jamie Graham and Trzynski at 2. These guys lost to Soto and Cano at one point during the season. When you get down to splitting hairs, I like to look at direct matchups. But what I said about Tony Smith and Mark Richards is different for these guys. Same bag chemistry's there. I love the dynamic of this team. You're talking about a hungry Jacob Trzynski and a Jamie Graham that went against the Pro Series. I don't know if anybody performs any better. And I'd like to point to the ACL titles a little bit here to kind of help explain that. If you look at Mark Richards right now sitting at the highest in the list at the ACL titles with 22, 15 of his titles came from opens, which means he has 7 pro titles. Let's go to number 2, Trey Birchfield. 13 from opens, 8 pro titles. You get to a Jamie Graham, he doubles those guys. We're talking about Jamie Graham with 15 pro titles, so 15 of his 20 coming out of the pro division. When it comes pro time, nobody performs better than Jamie Graham over time. I like those guys at number 2.
All right, well, we think we know who your number 1 is, Trey.
Yeah, Tony Smith and Mark Richards. I think the 2 best players in the world right now on a team together. That's scary. You talked about the bad chemistry. Fine, I'll concede that. But we literally have the team that is the reigning Team of the Year, co-team of the year. The other team split up, okay? Then, on top of that, both of them have won singles opens, and they just alleviated any and all concerns and went out and won a doubles open together. And they did so in a way to where one person wasn't carried. They played complementary. You talk about complementary football. Like if you're a big football person, you want the offense and the defense to play together. They played complementary cornhole. When one side wasn't playing well, the other was. When the other was, they just balanced each other. One guy throws an 11. The next guy, he hasn't thrown as well, so he picks it up and he throws a 10-9. They're playing well. They're jiving right now. And Mark Richards is scary. And when Tony Smith is your B player, I don't care. I don't care who is. Okay, as a B player, you're going to tell me Gavin Cano right now, you're going to take Gavin Cano over Tony Smith.
Ooh, I think that's closer than you think. Yeah.
See, to me, I'm Smith and Richards. Now, if Richards falls off to a last year Smith, and they won't. He can't do what he did last year and then still finish number 1. I'm saying right now, Tony Smith is the B player on the team. Okay. That's the best B player in the history of the sport. I don't care what you say. I mean, it's crazy.
It's a good argument. It's a good argument, Anthony.
Yeah, it's a great argument. And like I was saying, it's splitting hairs the top 3. So I kind of go to head-to-heads. Sammy Soto and Gavin Cano beat your Mark Richards and Tony Smith at open number 3. They had a head-to-head at open number 1 against Graham and Trzynski. They won that one as well. I think Sammy Soto proven to be a top 5, top 7 singles players. You pair him with Gavin Cano that has history over time. I love the fact that these guys have that regional affiliation, something to fight for, pride of Texas. I think that gives them that little bit more of motivation to go out and perform as a team. But I'm going to have Sammy Soto, Gavin Cano, number 1.
There you have it. There's your power rankings. Now we will get into our top 10 from Reno, starting off with number 10, which is Dominic Frisch. It's Vincent Frisch's younger brother, and he did a roll to stay alive.
Gio wants a roll in case it does fall. Oh, nice shot. It did end up falling, but he rolled.
There you go.
Anything to stay alive for the win always adds some brownie points there.
Yeah, we got a few of those on the list. Number 9, Elizabeth Tennyson with a 2-bag drag.
So the first game went 21 rounds. This is going into the 22nd round. Tennyson going up, and she hits a big 3-bag airmail.
I gotta say that was a little trippy because I thought I was looking at the same person clone.
I was like, is that mirrored?
It's weird to look at, I will say. All right, number 8, we got Jerry Lockwood with a 2-bag drag.
Oh no, Donnie, I do it too. I don't think it's a senior thing.
Jerry going up. Oh
Wow.
my gosh, what a shot from Jerry Lockwood.
Oh, Lockwood out of Colorado. He's done that to me a few times when I used to play when he was coming up. He's actually a really legit player, Jerry Lockwood.
He is. He's always there at the end in seniors. All right, Sam Finley with an airmail rodeo, number 7.
Elizabeth tries to use it herself. That bag's moving.
Oh,
It's on
my
the slick side.
goodness. You think it's moving?
I think it's stopped now. Finley. Oh my gosh, what a bag for Sam Finley. Getting.
All right, I got to jump in here, though. Shout out Sam Finley. I don't know if you guys saw. Sam Finley, open singles champion for the Florida Interstate Tournament.
Yeah, just wait till buy or sell, Trey. Just you wait.
Okay, all right.
We're gonna give Sam her love. She deserves it.
Don't ruin my hot take, guys. Don't ruin.
Oh, geez. Trey's trying to ruin everything. All right, number 6, Trey Birchfield with a bar soap.
What? Oh, I don't know if that's going to work out very well. He may be able to bar of soap. He's got slick side down. Birchfield's going hard at it. Then he gets the bar of soap. Big shot for
No big
collect on the left was kind of stupid. I didn't see the collect on the left. That was crazy.
Bar of soap at number 6, by the way, is crazy. Okay. This is number 5, Zach Aiken with a collect for the win.
Oh, he misses left. This is a disgusting collect for the win. Aiken, slick side down. He gets them all. What a bag.
Make Chamberlain double clutch.
Yeah.
Kid's good.
Kid's all right. He's all right.
Number 4, Jackson Remick with a coin slot.
Roll coming from Remick. Oh, look at that coin slot.
That's a coin slot.
That was pretty from Jackson Remick.
I see that on a weekly basis. He sits in the HQ and he just does that and bars of soap all day long. That's all he does.
Yeah. Tell me about it. When he was coming up, another guy that started kicking my butt, man. Colorado, another Colorado guy.
Yep. Hayden Gonzalez with a collect.
Ooh, that bag bounces right over the hole for Tony. Hey, oh
Wow.
my goodness, what a collect. Tony's got to give him the props too. I thought there was no chance that.
I was trying to figure out what was going to happen there, and that was not on my,
No.
my expectation list of how all those bags were going to go. So ridiculous.
It would have been on the telestrator, Trey.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but I'm glad I wasn't.
Yeah.
Number
Or
2.
that.
Yeah. Hunter Thorne with a collect to stay alive.
I mean, I've seen Spencer Fabianar do it already this weekend.
That was even
To stay
farther
alive,
out, I
Hunter
think.
Thorne. Oh, he gets
My
it!
goodness
What a
gracious.
shot by Hunter.
I'm glad you mentioned that they were borderline in your top 10. I have been very impressed with Thorne and Thorson, more so than I thought I would. Underrated team.
For sure.
Yeah, shout out to Wally because he's the first one that kind of went out on a limb and said, the Hunters to win one of the opens. And,
We thought
I
he was
used
crazy.
Trey's line. I came in, I was like, not a chance, bro.
Not a
But,
chance.
hey, here they are. They're showing.
Or in
my
Anthony's
ball.
words, don't like it.
I don't like it.
Number 1, Tony Forbes with a collect.
I think it was like, 46, 47 steps?
Wow.
It was nice.
That is nice. I loved Was it Ohio?
Big. Oh, my goodness gracious, Tony Forbes.
Anytime a shot just completely cuts off a train of thought, you know it's a good one.
I don't even know what I was talking about. No
Yeah.
clue. Doesn't matter.
Guys, keep an eye on your bumpers. It was all about that bumper out to the right, and he saw that out there. You might not see it when it's like 2 layers to the right, but that bumper could come into play in shots like that.
All right, guys, let's get into our buy or sell. And Trey, I know you're excited to talk about this one. Sam Finley has the potential to take over as the #1 female this season. How much are you liking her performance this past weekend?
I'm a huge Sam Finley fan. Give me a Sam Finley fan club T-shirt. Have been for a number of years, and for her to do, I messaged her. I said, all I said was, "Okay, Sam." That's all I said.
That was it.
No other context, right? And she kind of laughed back at it, and she said, "I'm still shocked." Right? Huge win. Just real quickly, Jack Gore, Logan Chamberlain, Ethan Walker, Gavin Cano, Jake Gore. Those are players she beat in the open singles tournament in order to get the crown. 100% buy stock in it on this buy or sell. If she's going to continue to throw like that, she's got the potential to do it. And I was talking about it could be a Cheyenne Miranda battle. I mean, right now, it should be a Cheyenne Sam battle if she's going to keep throwing like that.
Anthony?
Yeah, I'm going to buy as well. I've been saying it for years. The first female bagger to develop an elite level roll bag is going to threaten the #1 position at Cheyenne. And we got a little bit of it from Bella, right? When she came out, she was kind of doing that. Riley Schaff now demonstrating it, but winning it like that, the way that she won that on the back of a roll bag, and I'll talk about it a little bit when we get to the hot take, but I'm going to buy that all day. Yeah, she's definitely got that threatened.
Mark Richards could take over as the GOAT by the end of this season, Trey.
Sell. Look, there's longevity there, and there's also a quantity of titles that we have to take into it. You know me, I'm a title race guy, but I do it so it gives us something to talk about, and it does matter. And it is a huge matter. If we talk 10 years from now and Mark Richards has a lead in that, then I'll call him that. But right now, that title belongs to Matt Guy for the longevity purpose. Now, if 2 or 3 years goes by and Matt Guy doesn't win another title,
okay,
I'm open to the conversation then. But let's pump the brakes a little bit.
Anthony?
Agree 100%. Going to sell. And I hinted at it earlier. When I look at the titles, I put a lot of stock in the pro titles, especially if we go back 2 seasons ago or even last season when there was an amateur pool in the opens. Look at a guy like Jamie Graham with 15 pro titles and Matt Guy that's been doing it for as long as we know. So, yeah, I'm going to sell on that one as well.
All right. The first senior to develop a reliable roll or cut shot will dominate that division, Trey.
I would say, I probably buy into that as well. And it's going to come, I think it's going to come at some point relatively soon. I mean, because people will age into that senior division, right? So a lot of the people in the senior division are just people that have been around the game for a long time. So they never, like that would have to be a change in the way that they play. But I think, there are some people out there that maybe 50 years old, turning 50 years old that have developed a roll bag. And then when they hit that 55 mark, they're ready to throw it. So yeah, I would buy it.
Anthony?
Got to buy it. Listen to the seniors. Their #1 complaint right now is playing the younger guys. What are the younger guys doing? They're rolling bags. Mm-hmm. So that is beating the senior division. So if a senior can figure it out, it's going to give them a huge advantage against that opponent pool.
All right. Matt Guy will not be able to retake his spot as the #1 title holder.
I would buy that and say that it also it does not reflect on his GOAT status, at least for the short term, right? I think what's important for Guy is that if he keeps it close and no number overall titles, and he wins a few more but never gets back to that #1, he can still retain that GOAT status. I think the only issue is if we see prolonged years of not winning a title and people developing big leads, that's when I get worried. But for now, I'm selling that.
Anthony?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get it either. I don't think it's crazy to say, it wouldn't even be a hot take to say that Matt Guy is never going to develop anything new to his game. I think that he's just sticking to what he's always done. It shows really good on the stat sheet, but when it comes down to winning titles, you need something else to win those last 2, maybe 3 matches. So yeah, I think his the titles are going to continue to just kind of creep away from him. But I agree with the GOAT status of what Trey is saying.
Okay. Last one. It's imperative that committed doubles teams play together in the next 2 opens to be successful in the signatures.
Yeah, I'm going to buy this. And not so much that they have to go to these last 2 opens, but I think the last open that you play, you should play with your pro partner, right? You want to shake out those things unless you're going back to my strategy of leaving the door open to switch mid-year by getting a minimum number of tournaments in. So mostly buy unless you're scheming behind the scenes.
I like it. Anthony?
I think it's going to be important for some of those teams sitting out there outside of 20, but for the top 20 guys, for the most part, there's history there. They're all solid baggers. I think that a guy like Davis can just navigate in and out of partnerships and be fine. We see Tony Smith winning multiple ones with different partners. So I'm going to sell on that one for the guys inside top 20, but I agree for outside of top 20, and you're fighting for maybe that, what is it, the top 20 something spots to make the world championship. That's going to be super important.
All right. Hot take. Anthony, you have been leading up to your hot take the entire
him
show.
go
Yeah, you're going first. Tell us what you got.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, I'm on this Samantha Finley hot take this weekend. If we look at the last open, she surprised us all. She got to the king seat match going through Justin Burton Jr. And it was at that moment in that open where she unveiled on a national level her newly developed roll bag. And it didn't stop there. So it was like, did she get lucky? Did she just hit a few rolls? And I was following her pretty good. And I was actually really, really happy with what I was seeing. But like you said, like Trey said, it didn't stop there. And it was Ethan Walker hit me this weekend. And he was like, yo, Samantha Finley is cooking out here in Florida at the Interstate Championship. So he got my full attention. You got Ethan Walker talking about someone being cooking. And he said, she figured out her roll bag. So I tapped in, and guys, it was absolutely insane. And Trey kind of riled it off, but it was the toughest run I've ever seen Finley go through in her career. And I've been following her closely since we both came into the pro division right about the same time in 2018, 2019. But that run, first matchup, Jake Gore, right out of the gate, wins that one. Gavin Cano, Ethan Walker, Logan Chamberlain, and then it's Jackson Gore coming out of the loser's side, goes undefeated, but beating the best roll bags that we see in the game right now. And you talk about a Chamberlain and a Jackson who are throwing their best stuff right now, and then Cano and Jake don't play. And then it was Ethan Walker going to Sam, and it was Kat that told us this story. He tells Sam, you outrolled me, and I don't get outrolled. So we're talking about the top 40. So if we go back to the signature series, we talk about the top 40. Let's look at Sam's history. She was 186 last season in singles, 115 in 23, 181 in 22, 103 in 21. My hot take, Samantha Finley is going to be a top 40 making the final world championship singles bracket.
Wow. I like it. Trey?
This goes perfectly to my hot take. It's all about Sam Finley. I've known Sam for a very long time. Her and Rosie, been very, very good, very close, big fans of theirs, okay? For years and years, I've gone into events and picked them. And every single time they tell me, stop picking me. So my hot take, Sam Finley finishes dead last. He falls apart and has the worst season of her career, and she is doomed to never play cornhole again. There's my hot take.
She throws her bags away. She's out.
Oh, yeah.
Plato's Closet loves it.
All right, and I'm going to do a very, I think, hot take with putting the Hunters in the top 10. Come on, Hunter Thorson.
Oh, okay.
You got it.
I like that hot take.
Get that top 10 spot.
Nice.
You deserve it. I liked what I saw in Reno. Keep it going. All right, guys, that's all we got time for. We'll check in with you guys next week.